trip, girl, so slip into something slinky and smooth. Way, way out, just wave the world goodbye, let's fly, 'cause girl, I got a whole lot to prove. Way, way out, I mean to show you, I know you and me, we're meant to go the whole route. Way, way out, and if you stick with me, girl, you'll see what the game of love's all about. Way, way out, I'm gonna put a smile upon your face. Get ready now, you better brace yourself. We're gonna take a trip in outer space. Fly now and we'll pay later, girl. Come on and go with me and you'll see what the game of love's all about. It's way, way out, way, way out, way, way out, way, way out. No time to pack your bag, just grab my hand and let me show you the way. Way, way out, I've nominated you, the girl who I would like to lead me astray. Way, way out, I'm gonna prove to you that love is groovy, so you better watch out. Way, way out, I aim to hold you, kiss you, teach you what the game of love's all about. Way, way out, the moment that I saw you in the crowd, I plan to take you into orbit, girl. I'm gonna get us lost inside a cloud, 'cause that's the only way to fly. So put your trust in me and you'll see what the game of love's all about. It's way, way out, 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 way, way
This is Colonel John Shorty Powers in Lunar Launch Control. This story takes place near the turn of the century. Not the last century, the next century. Nothing very much has happened since the 1960s. There is still a United Nations and peace in the world, or at least what we have come to accept as peace.
The Special Moderating Committee of the United Nations will now come to order. And the chair recognizes the delegate from the Soviet Union.
Thank you. 5 days ago, on October 22nd, a Russian woman citizen, Anna Sablova, who is now operating our weather station on the moon, was fallen upon and attacked without warning by one of the United States personnel who is at present operating the American weather station on the moon. This completely unprovoked assault with deep sexual implications only failed because of Miss Sablova's previous experience in fighting off attacks of this nature.
The United States government denies all knowledge of such an attack. And knowing the high type of the fine young American men that America has sent to its weather stations on the moon, we feel sure that this attack, if it occurred, must have been provoked by the Russian citizen, Miss Anna Sablova herself.
I charge that this high type of fine young American men are nothing but uncontrolled sex offenders of the lowest type.
Sex offenders?
You understand me? I gave you the facts. You know I'm right.
Stand for this, sir.
No.
You can't hold that with me, sir. Right, I'll tell you that. Not one moment, sir. What are you pounding on a pedal with your shoe? You get a shoe out here. Don't you get...
Yes, there is peace on Earth, and great things are happening on the moon. But we would be less than honest if we didn't admit that there may be trouble brewing up there.
Mr. Quonset, I'm not clear about a few charges made at the United Nations yesterday.
Please, let me repeat. I have absolutely nothing more to say about the outrageous charges made by the Russians at the United Nations yesterday.
Then you deny that one of our boys up there made an attack on that Russian girl?
Well, of course I deny it. I know the caliber of the men we send to the moon. I select them myself.
Don't they like girls?
She said, don't they like girls?
Naturally, they like girls, with restraint. Let us not forget we are talking about American boys. Now then, as to the reason for calling this conference, as you know, ever since our lunar station was established, it has been our policy to send up 2 men, a weathernaut and an astronomer. From now on, for reasons best known to ourselves, we have decided that the team shall consist of a male weathernaut and a fully qualified female astronomer.
Mr. Quonset,
Mm-hmm.
do you mean to say we're going to send a man and a woman up there to spend a year on the moon alone together?
Not a woman, a wife. There's a big difference between the two, you know.
When was all this decided? Yesterday?
This has nothing whatever to do with anything that happened yesterday. This decision was taken some months ago.
Why? Is something happening up there that we don't know about?
What could be happening on the moon? The moon is a lonely, desolate post. Naturally, certain difficulties arise when men are subjected to those kinds of stresses.
What stresses?
Personality disarrangement, deep depressions, the sort of friction which naturally develops between 2 men who have nothing but each other for company for an entire year. And to be quite frank, the 2 men we have up there now have tried to do away with each other 3 times in the last 4 months.
Where do you plan on finding a weathernaut who's going to fall in love with and marry a female astronomer?
It so happens that we have already found just such a couple. At about the same time as our decision was made, it came to our notice that a young weathernaut had fallen in love with one of our girls from the National Space Agency. They have just returned from a blissful 3 weeks honeymoon.
Do we get their names?
You get better than that. At this time, I plan to introduce you to... As I was saying, at this time, we plan... Forgive me one moment. What is it, Ponsonby?
It's terrible.
What's terrible?
Yes, sir. That ends the press conference for today.
Ponsonby!
Yes, sir.
What the hell do you think you're up to?
I'm afraid the fertilizer has hit the ventilator, sir.
What are you talking about?
The newlyweds. You're in for a terrible shock.
Hey, you overgrown pipsqueak, you!
Please listen.
No, you listen.
No, not that. Put it down, dear. Give it to me. There. Good heavens, what is this? Our first little lover's quarrel? We can't have that. It's much too early in the day.
The whole thing's blown up in our faces, sir. She doesn't want to go to the moon.
To the moon? Mr. Quonset, I wouldn't go to the corner drugstore with that miserable excuse for a man.
What's wrong? Did something happen on the honeymoon?
Did something happen? Well, we saw a lot of daytime television, and we went to the saltwater plunge every afternoon.
You don't shut up.
Oh, yes, and he was on the phone to his mother at least 2 or 3 times a day.
What's wrong with calling my mother? I know her a lot better than I know you.
What were you calling her for? Instructions?
Now, you listen to me.
Now, children, I expect you're both of you a little bit overtired.
For what?
Well, nobody's honeymoon goes smoothly, you know. Good heavens, I wouldn't go through my honeymoon again with Mrs. Quonset for... You'll soon warm to each other on the moon. You've got a whole year together.
Forget it.
Forget it, my dear child. You're due to lift off in under 3 days.
I'm lifting off right now.
Oh.
What a girl. What an awful girl. Well, they said right from the beginning.
Never mind what your lousy mother said. Go after her.
Go after her? I never want to see her again as long as I live.
Do you realize the position you're putting this country in, you idiot?
You should have seen some of the things she did and heard some of the things she wanted to do.
Do you think those poor, half-crazed mutts stumbling around on the moon care what your wife did on your piddling little honeymoon? They are due to be relieved in 6 days, and I will not be responsible if they have to wait a moment longer.
Well, I certainly can't see your predicament, sir.
This isn't a predicament. This is a national disaster, you bungler. We haven't another trained married couple available.
Well, Mother had an awfully good suggestion when I...
Get out. Take your mother and... Get out.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Ah, get out! Well, what do we do now? My neck is out 10 miles on this thing.
Maybe we should have listened to that advice of his mother's, sir.
Don't you try and be funny, Ponsonby. On the top of everything that's happened, don't you try and be funny. Well, who's next on the list to go? Who's Robertson's backup?
Mattamore.
Who?
Mattamore. Peter Mattamore.
Is he still around?
Yes, sir.
And he's next in line. Well, where is he?
He's at the centrifuge today.
Well, get him out of there.
Yes, sir. The button, sir, please.
Get him into my office right away.
Yes, sir. Pull yourself together, Mattamore. No, Mattamore, this way.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Mr. Quonset? Hello? Hello?
Late? What's going on?
I don't know. I got him out of the centrifuge, and there it was.
Does that thing always affect you like this?
No. Well, only when it turns. Only when it...
Well, the way rumors fly around here, no doubt you've heard the bad news.
Oh, you mean about the couple not going to the moon? Oh, yeah, yes, sir, I did hear.
And since you're the backup man, you'll know that you're next to leave for the moon on Thursday.
Me?
Yes, you, Mattamore. And this time, you are not going to weasel out of it.
Oh, well, I never weaseled out of it, sir.
Mattamore, you've been in training now for 11 years. Each time your name came up to the top of the list, you have done everything short of turning yourself inside out to keep yourself from going.
Well, I wouldn't exactly...
Meanwhile, Mattamore, you have been using your position as a weathernaut to cash in on the Women's Club lecture circuit.
Well, I wouldn't exactly say cash in. I made a couple...
Well, that's all behind you now, Mattamore.
Well, don't you want me to light this for you, sir?
I don't smoke.
Oh, well, I think that...
You're going to the moon in 3 days.
Well, sir, please, if I may just point out, you know, I am the oldest weathernaut here now.
Yeah, you were the oldest weathernaut when you started your training.
Yes, so I was. But, well, you see, I had plans for the weekend, and I don't know what to do about them. I was going paddleboarding at Lake Okefenokee with Stella Mary Ogelmeyer.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it does to your plans. Cancels them.
Cancel Stella Mary Ogelmeyer? Why, we're as good as engaged, sir.
You're leaving for the moon, Mattamore, and that's that. Stella Mary Ogelmeyer?
Yes, sir.
Mattamore, how many girls do you know who have the necessary space training and a graduate degree in geology and astronomy?
Well, the only girls I know, sir, didn't even finish high school. Why?
You have exactly 3 days, Mattamore, to find a girl with those qualifications and marry her.
3 days?
3 days.
3 days.
Sir, I don't believe there are 10 girls in the entire world that meet those qualifications.
It so happens we have 3 of them at the space agency right now. Ponsonby has done a rundown on them, haven't you, Ponsonby?
Yes, sir. Right here, sir.
I'd like to see that.
There you are. Here are some of the pictures of them I managed to get hold of. Yes. This is Mary Jane Saunders.
Hey, she's not bad.
Unfortunately, she's already married. It's Esther Davenport, 34, unmarried.
Figures.
She's qualified in every way.
Could we go on? What's the matter with her?
Oh, nothing at all. At least nothing that I know of.
Eileen Forbes, and it's between this one and number 2.
Well, let's just say this one.
Get onto this right away. I want Miss Forbes in my office at 4:30.
Yes, sir.
I don't know anything about her, really.
Well, what is there to know? She's a girl, and you picked her out, didn't you?
Yes, sir, I did. But what I mean is, I don't know that she'd like me.
Well, you've got 3 days to make her change her mind. That shouldn't be a problem for a man with your reputation.
Reputation? What reputation?
Don't be coy, Mattimore. You have a rotten reputation with women. Everyone on the base is always saying, what a rotten reputation you have.
Well, that might be so, sir, but in actuality...
The country is depending on you, Mattimore. Well, I mean, what else can the country do? We're stuck with you, aren't we?
Are you sure? I mean, are you gentlemen sure that you have the right girl? I don't even know this man.
I know that, Miss Forbes. But due to the nature of the emergency...
I'm well aware of the emergency, Mr. Quonset. And as much as I'd appreciate the scientific opportunity involved in spending a year on the moon, the idea of marrying a complete stranger...
Yes, I think she's right, sir. I mean, it's the marriage business that's fouling up everything. I mean, Miss Forbes and I are just scientists, off for a year's scientific expedition. And why clutter it up with a lot of marriage talk?
That's not exactly what I had in mind either.
Mattimore, you seem to forget that unlike the Russians, we're a very religious nation. The country would never stand for a lot of unlicensed slap and grapple smacky mouth on the moon.
It is not the idea of marriage I object to.
Oh, good.
It is the idea of being forced into it with someone I don't even know. It's a little cut and dried for me. As if I'd been selected from a picture in some breeder's guide. By the way, how did I happen to be chosen?
Oh, well, I just happened to see your picture and I...
You know, from that moment on, he was a changed man. He kept running around yelling, this is the girl I've been looking for all my life. I have to go to the moon with her. I just have to. Isn't that what you were running around yelling, Mattimore?
Well, that may not be exactly...
Those were your exact words. I remember them very well.
Yes, they were my words.
This is really very flattering, gentlemen, but when the magic moment finally comes, for me, it'll be with a man I've fallen in love with.
Yes, but we haven't time for all that nonsense. You see, the moon is in exactly the right position 3 days from now, and liftoff is scheduled for precisely 0500 hours that morning.
I, on the other hand, will not be in exactly the right position at 0500 hours that morning.
If only I could get across to you how desperate this emergency really is. Ponsonby!
I'm sorry.
Ponsonby! Ponsonby.
Oh, sorry, sir, the lamp.
Never mind the lamp. Let me know as soon as we start getting our afternoon weather reports from the moon.
We're getting them right now, sir.
Fine.
I wouldn't advise that, sir.
That's all right, Ponsonby.
But things have deteriorated even since yesterday.
I said that was all right, Ponsonby.
I had about enough of this, Hoffman. Shut up! I'm warning you. Shut up!
Schmidlap! Schmidlap! This is Mr. Quonset from Cape Kennedy.
You too, Quonset. Shut up! Just keep your big, fat, ugly mouth shut!
I can't take it anymore. I've been telling you for weeks. I can't stand it anymore.
Easy, boy, there.
Hour after hour, day after day, week after week.
Pull yourself together, man. What happened to your teeth?
What do you think happened to him? Schmidlap knocked him out. I said good morning to him, and he knocked my teeth out.
Where is he now?
Right where he always is. He's sitting over there staring at me. I can't stand those horrible red eyes any longer.
Now, listen to me. Never mind about Schmidlap. You're due to be relieved in a few days.
I'll never last that long.
Sad, isn't it?
I get those horrible burning eyes of his.
Hang on, man, hang on. It's nearly over now.
I don't think this is fair, Mr. Quonset. You're trying to make this all seem as if it were my personal responsibility.
Well, isn't it, in a way?
No. You pick my picture out of some file, and all of a sudden I'm responsible for the whole moon project. Even if Mr. Mattamore's sanity is at stake, I resent being asked to go up there for the sole purpose of his masculine needs.
But that's not true. You're being sent up there as part of a scientific team.
Scientific team, ha! The only reason I'm being asked to go up there is because I happen to be built a little differently than Mr. Mattamore.
It works better that way.
Any girl would serve the purpose.
Hold it a minute. I haven't had a chance to say 2 words. Now, how do you know you wouldn't like me if you got to know me a little better?
I didn't say I didn't like you.
And how can you expect anything to happen in a barren, cold office in broad daylight? I think we should have dinner together tonight.
No, I don't see any reason.
Miss Forbes, I am not suggesting any wild weekend in the mountains. I am only saying that we should have dinner together.
All right, Mr. Mattamore. We'll have dinner. I don't see how it's going to help anything, but if it'll make you happy. Shall we say about 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock is fine.
Fine.
You're dead, Mattamore. You haven't got a chance with her.
How do you know?
I could tell the moment she walked in. She can't stand the sight of you.
Since when are you such an expert, sir?
These things are chemical. I happen to be rather sensitive to them. Believe me, Mattamore, I could feel her dislike for you even before you opened your mouth. I'd just like to know where you got that big deal, rotten reputation with women from.
I didn't say I had a big deal, rotten reputation with women. You said I had a big deal, rotten reputation with women.
Well, if you take my advice, you'll write Miss Forbes off as a dead loss and get on the telephone to that other girl. What was her name? Esther Davenport.
Just a minute, Mr. Quonset. I've got something to say about this.
Something, but not very much. What's the matter with Miss Davenport? She fills all our qualifications.
Well, maybe so, but she doesn't fill my qualifications. Moreover, she doesn't even fill her own blouse.
Hello, Peter.
Oh, hi, Fern.
Hey, I thought you were supposed to have a date with Stella Mary tonight.
No, I don't have a date with Stella Mary. I have a date with that young lady right there.
Well, Stella Mary doesn't know that.
Look,
I was with
knock
Stella-
it off, Fern. Just park the car, honey. Hello, Ruby Pearl.
Hi, I thought you had a date with Stella Mary tonight.
Cool it, cool it. Just check the hat and cool it. Here we go, dear.
Bonsoir, Monsieur Mattamore. Bonsoir, mademoiselle.
Breckenridge, how are you?
Monsieur Mattamore, I wonder if I could speak to you for just a moment.
Well, yes, of course.
Pardon, mademoiselle.
Excuse us a moment.
Say, Peter, there's been a mistake made.
A mistake? What mistake?
Well, we have you down here for a special table, fried champagne, Russian caviar, an orchid on the table, violinists at the appropriate time.
Yeah, that's what I want.
You never spent over $1.35 on a girl before in your life.
Well, I'm going to spend more tonight. I'm sorry, dear. There was a little problem with the table.
Well, mademoiselle, monsieur.
Hey, I thought you had a date
You
with Stella
thought, but
Mary.
I don't.
Well, she thinks you do.
Yeah, well, I don't care what she thinks. I don't. Excuse me.
Well, Mr. Mattamore, nothing that could turn a girl's head seems to be overlooked.
Well, I didn't want for it to appear to be prearranged. It's just that you
Oh,
want...
don't apologize. I know with the limited time schedule you have to plan everything right down to the last second.
I knew you'd appreciate that.
Now, what's the exact time we have set aside for our first tremulous kiss?
You're going to make this your life's work?
Oh, pardon.
Would you mind pouring the champagne, please? I mean, I'm certain you would like to know what will, in the end result, prevail between the lady and I, but I haven't found out yet, so as soon as I know, I'll let you know. It's perfectly all right. Thank you. I'm sorry. Oh, yes, I was going to say that I realized this afternoon you were terribly upset at the fact that we really didn't know each other very well. Well, I took it upon myself to get this biography that I made out when I joined the service. It's a standard form, and I think it'll save some time. I suppose you filled one out, too.
Yes. I just didn't happen to think to bring it along with me. Very interesting. Name, address, age, weight.
I might add, this was made out 11 years ago. I grew an inch taller since then.
Well, it's all there.
Yeah, well, not all, of course.
Oh, everything a girl contemplating marriage should know, though. Except about that seedy reputation you seem to have.
Seedy reputation? What seedy reputation? Have you been talking to Quonset?
Yes. He called me this afternoon, and he put in what he obviously thought was a plug for you.
Why doesn't he keep his weather forecasting nose out of my business? This whole thing is all wrong. I think we should start all over again. I mean, from the beginning. Don't you?
All right. Right from the beginning.
Okay. Are there any questions you want to ask about me?
Just one.
What's that?
Who is Stella Mary?
If I'm not mistaken, that, Stella Mary, right there. Hi, Stella.
Why, you miserable, no good, date-breaking, two-timing pipsqueak.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Quonset's talking to the moon, but you can go right in.
Thank you.
Schmidlap! Schmidlap! He's a stubborn one. Schmidlap, I want you to do something for me. I want you to get up and go across the room and untie Hoffman. Schmidlap, you shouldn't tie Hoffman up like that.
Why don't you go take a flying...
Now listen to me, Schmidlap. I've been very patient with you. I never said anything about that disgraceful business of your attacking that Russian girl. That could very easily have got us into a very difficult situation, but I never said a thing. But there is one thing I am not going to stand for, Schmidlap, and that is the way you tie up Hoffman all the time. Do you hear me, Schmidlap?
Yeah, I hear you. Like I said before.
Why don't you go take a...
Schmidlap, I don't have to listen to talk like that. You think just because you're way up there on the moon, I don't have anything I can threaten you with. Schmidlap. Schmidlap. Trouble is that way up there on the moon, I don't have anything I can threaten him with. Well, I hear you struck out again last night.
How do you know?
I make it my business to know these things. She walked out on you in the restaurant, and later, when you went up to her apartment, she wouldn't let you in.
Well, it was just a chain of unfortunate circumstances.
Oh, knock it off, Matamore. You're dead with that girl, and you know it. She hates your guts. Let me know when Miss Davenport gets here, will you?
Oh, she's here now, sir.
She is. Oh, well, send her in.
Miss who?
Now, don't start that. You haven't got any more time. Let's just pray you do a little bit better with Miss Davenport than you did with Miss Forbes. I don't know what the Weather Bureau's doing in this business of finding girls for you, anyway.
Well, it certainly wasn't my idea.
Ah. Miss Davenport, good morning. May I introduce the charming and attractive Mr. Matamore, who, as I told you on the telephone, has been so anxious to meet you. Miss Davenport, Mr. Matamore.
How do you do?
Oh. Won't you sit down?
Thank you. Well, shall we get right down to it? I've been briefed on the whole situation, and I understand all of the ramifications. Let me say right here and now that I'm ready to go.
Good girl. Matamore?
Yes, When is the marriage to be scheduled? Will I have a chance to visit my family in San Diego? It doesn't matter. I won't insist.
Fine. Isn't everything fine, Matamore?
Why, yes, as a matter of fact, no, everything is not fine. Miss Davenport and I hardly even know each other.
Know each other? What has that got to do with anything?
Well, it's got everything to do with everything. I mean, we're talking about something we're going to have to live with for the rest of our lives.
What we're talking about, Mr. Matamore, is the greatest scientific opportunity that two people have ever been given. And when you get right down to it, what is marriage anyhow? A half an hour a day at most.
A half an hour?
Is that too much time or too little?
Every day? I mean, what I mean is, what about the spiritual aspect of marriage?
For Pete's sake, Matamore, you sound like a 16-year-old girl.
No, all I'm trying to say, Mr. Quantrill,
Matamore, the important thing is that Miss Davenport is ready and willing to go to the moon with you on Thursday. You don't run across a girl like that every day.
I understand that, sir, but I'm merely trying to say...
Matamore, forget the spiritual business. Mrs. Quonset and I have been married for 23 years, and during the whole of that time, we have never, I repeat, never had a single solitary spiritual moment between us.
I'm afraid we're wasting time, gentlemen. I'll be expecting to hear from your office, Mr. Quonset. It's going to be a great adventure, Mr. Matamore. The greatest adventure that a man and woman ever embarked on.
Oh.
Now, that's what I call a most unusual girl.
Yeah, I would call her that, too.
Well, it's true. She's not the sort of girl you'd fall in love with at first sight.
At first sight?
But I'll tell you what she is, Matamore. She's qualified, she's available for the trip Thursday, and she's a girl.
Is that a wild guess, Mr. Quonset, or do you know something I don't?
Matamore, why don't you try and look on the bright side? This wedding is going to be one of the biggest things in years. You'll have television coverage, newsreels, and who knows, you may even get a telephone call from the President of the United States himself.
Mr. Quonset, if you could just forget your position for just a moment and level with me, would you marry a girl like that?
Matamore! I did. I did marry a girl like that.
You did marry a girl? Oh. Hi.
Well, hello.
I had no place to go, so I thought I'd come over here.
Now, that's not the most flattering thing I've ever heard, but I'll skip it for the moment. Would you like to come in?
Yeah, thank you. I didn't mean to be unflattering.
Well, here's to your last night on Earth. I mean, for a year.
That's better.
You know, it still seems incredible to me that in a very few hours you'll be up there, looking down at us here.
Yeah, I'm wondering what you'll be doing.
Oh, I won't be doing a thing, except maybe kicking myself for not going along.
Well, you know, it's still not too late.
I know, Peter, but
If you feel too strongly about it, naturally, I'm not
I do feel strongly about it. I've been dying to go ever since the first minute we talked about it. One of the troubles with life, Peter, is that you're stuck with the way you're brought up. You're taught to look at things a certain way, and no matter what happens, that's the way you see it. You know, I almost called you the other night.
You did?
Yeah. I had an idea. But I knew it couldn't work.
Well, what was it? I mean,
Well, it really doesn't matter, because it's not going to work.
well, I'd like to know, just as a matter of conversation.
Well, I was just thinking, why couldn't we go ahead with the wedding ceremony and sort of have a marriage in name only?
You mean like never consummated?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really believe that's what they had in mind when they began this experiment.
Yeah, it wouldn't work, would it?
Well, I could be crazier than Schmidlap in 2 days.
I just thought two intelligent adult people, well, surely they could trust themselves.
Oh, I trust you completely. I wouldn't.
It's a shame, though.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. It really is a shame. Well, I guess I'd better get going.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Eileen,
Yes?
I was wondering, would it be all right if I kissed you goodbye?
You're still going a long way.
Goodbye. I surrender unconditionally. I'll do anything you say, but please don't let me go up there with Esther Davenport.
Peter,
I know I'll probably go out of my mind, but I would much prefer going crazy with you than with anybody else I know.
Hadn't you better think it over? You know, you said yourself...
I did think it over, and forget what I said. I mean, you just make the conditions, and I agree to them. What do you say?
Well, if you're sure.
Oh, yes, I'm sure. I'm positive. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Would you mind if I kissed you goodbye again?
You don't have to. I'm going with you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hey, what do you think? I'm on my way.
Do you know what the time is? Where the devil have you been?
Well, they were
There's
driving...
no time for explanations. Come along, please. Get on with it. Please, hurry.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered...
Yes, we only have a minute and a half before liftoff. We shall have to do this in the elevator on the way up. Please, come along. That's all, I'm afraid. Matamore, not you! Well, what are we waiting for now?
Oh, yes. Dearly beloved, we are...
You're never going to make it with all that in there. Just cut to the point where everybody agrees to take everybody.
Oh, yes. Do you, Peter Matamore, take Eileen Forbes to be your lawful wedded wife?
I do.
I left out to love and to cherish till death do us part. That's the loveliest part of the ceremony.
Good, I hate that part. Congratulations.
I haven't asked her if she takes him yet.
Don't worry about it, she does.
Won't be legal if I don't ask her.
Well, for heaven's sake, ask her. We're nearly at the top.
Thank you. Dearly beloved...
Yeah, you've said that already.
I did?
Yes.
Oh, Eileen Forbes, do you take Peter Matamore to be your lawful wedded husband?
I do.
Good. Congratulations.
Haven't pronounced them man and wife yet.
Oh, for heaven's sake, pronounce them. We only have 45 seconds left.
Thank you. I now pronounce you man and wife.
Good. Everybody out.
Word of advice to the newlyweds.
Later. This is Deuce Hawkins, your space pilot on your trip to the moon. Mrs. Matamore.
Hello.
How do you do? Will you please step in?
Bye.
Bye. This is Mr. Matamore.
How do you do?
How do you do? I take it you've made this trip before, Mr. Hawkins?
Well, not recently. I've been laid off for the last 2 years.
Oh.
36, 50 seconds, 37.
Why?
38.
Why what?
39.
I mean, why has he been laid off?
Drinking, but don't bring it up. He's very sensitive about it.
Oh, he's sensitive about drink. Oh.
30 seconds. S1 Park Center. All personnel, cool area, into the blockhouse. 20 seconds.
Peter, hold this for a second.
Yeah.
Here we go. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
They're going to be here any minute now. The least you could do is to help me clean up the place a little bit. Look at you. Gravy all over you. Just look at this place. It's a filthy pigsty. Schmidlap, do you realize this computer has been gummed up for a week with those lousy Mexican refried beans of yours? Maybe it's all right for us to live like swine, Schmidlap, but Matamore is bringing up a web. This morning, when I unbolted our box from the wall to make a double bed for it, what do you think I found in your blankets? 2 3-week-old chicken enchiladas. Is that anything for a brand new bride to find in her wedding bed? Do you hear me, Schmidlap? Do you ever listen to anything I say?
Luna 3 calling Moon Station. Luna 3 calling Moon Station.
This is United States Moon Station. Is that you, Matamore?
Yes, this is me. Is that you, Huffman?
Yes, this is me. It's Matamore. Oh, I've never been so glad to hear from anybody in my life.
Well, it's nice to hear from you too, Hoffman. We're in lunar orbit, and we just fired our retro rockets. We should be there in a few minutes.
Oh, I wish you'd given us more notice, Matamore. Haven't even had a chance to shave yet.
Well, it's too late now. We've already gotten into our spacesuits, and we're coming in. See you in a couple of minutes. This is Luna 3 out.
All right, you heard him. We don't even have time to shave. But one thing we are going to do, Schmidlap, we're going to get all those filthy drawings of yours down off the walls. How do you think a young girl's going to react when she walks in here and finds these lewd, foul things of yours all over the place? These filthy things have got to come down. Oh, Schmidlap, aren't you ashamed of yourself? Do you realize what you smell like after all this time, Schmidlap? No. You are a slob. A dirty, filthy, no-good slob.
Mrs. Matamore.
I want to walk with her.
Look, Matamore, I think we better get Mrs. Matamore in between us and keep her there until we get inside the moon station.
Why?
Well, I
want to walk with her.
Never mind. Just grab one arm. I'll grab the other one.
Walk with her.
And don't let loose. Whatever you do.
I'm going to walk with her.
Schmidt-Lamp.
I want to walk with her. Let me walk with her a little. Please, let me walk with her.
Just keep your distance, Schmidt-Lamp. Remember, there are two of us now and you're outnumbered.
Let me hold a hand. A little something.
I'm going to have to apologize for the way this place looks, Matamore, but, well, you know how it is when you're batching.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a mess trying to keep any kind of order up here at all in that one. He couldn't care less if the grime was 3 feet thick. You better put those boots on.
What for?
Well, they're a special boot designed to take care of the low gravity up here. If you don't put them on, sail around all over the room every time you take a step.
What's she doing in there?
It's none of your business. Matamore doesn't want you to know what his wife is doing in there.
Why? What is she doing?
She's not doing anything. Is she, Matamore?
Huh? Oh, no. That is, I don't think so.
There, you see, so just quit using that awful, filthy imagination of yours and get a hold of yourself.
Is she taking a shower?
Why? What's it to you?
Is she?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Listen, I think, for the sake of everyone concerned, that we'd better lift off just as soon as possible. I'll go over everything with you, and then we'll get out of here.
Maybe she's taking a bath without anything on.
How dare you to say a thing like that with her husband sitting right in the same room with you? I'm surprised that Matamore doesn't horsewhip you.
Yeah.
Of course, if she is taking a bath, it naturally be without anything on. I mean, it just, it just stands to reason, doesn't it?
What stands to reason?
That she'd be doing it without anything on.
Well, people have been known to... Well, how would I know?
How would you know? Don't you ever look?
Well...
Don't you even care?
Why, sure.
I would.
Wait, you seem to forget that we were married only minutes before the liftoff.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. But even so, I just naturally assumed.
You assumed what?
Oh, really, Matamore? Even if you two had jumped the gun a little bit, this isn't 1960, is it?
Maybe she's one of those girls who soaps herself all over and then gets into the tub.
Well,
Hello, shut up!
Well, I didn't mean anything.
No.
Oh, you were talking to him. I thought...
Well, I'm terribly sorry I took so long. Oh. You know, I know this is going to sound very silly to you, but I usually soap myself all over before I get into the tub.
Honey, you don't have to make any explanation. We were talking about, I mean, and a man's wife.
No, Schmidt. No, Schmidt. No,
my wife.
That's all right. I'll take care of
You
Schmidt.
better take care of him because he's, you
Schmidt.
got...
Schmidt. All right, Matamore. If you care anything about that girl at all, protect her.
Oh, Schmidlap, just hold it there for a second.
Stop! She took a shower. You better stop. Whoa, a shower. Oh, listen, what are you doing? Oh, boy, this is... Oh, shut up, Schmidt. I just wanted to talk to her.
I'm warning you for the last time. Shut up!
Her little finger sounds something. I'll get you for this. Oh, you hee-ha-ha. Oh.
When do you untie him?
Yeah.
When I rendezvous with Deuce in the main ship and get some help.
Nothing's gonna help you, Huffman. You no good dick.
What happens when Schmidlap gets back and there's girls all over the place?
Oh, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I can just get him to go back to divinity school. Well. Hold on to him, Matamore.
You all right, Schmidt? Schmidlap.
All right, bring him up, Matamore.
Right. You okay, Schmitty? Let me give you a hand, Schmidlap. Up you go. That's it. In you go, Schmidlap. Watch it.
I've got him, Matamore.
Take care, Hoffman. Good luck.
Good luck, Matamore.
So long.
There they go.
Yeah, and we're all alone up here now. Tired?
Yeah, kind of. Can't remember the last time we had any sleep.
Well, it was 72 hours ago. It would be a good idea to go to bed, don't you think?
Oh. Now, wait a minute. What do you mean by that?
Nothing, except what I said. It would be a good idea to go to sleep. After 72 hours, you're sleepy, and the best thing for that is getting some.
Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry, Peter. I don't know what's the matter with me. You know, it's not the things you say so much. It's sometimes you have a very peculiar way of saying them.
Eileen, what's so peculiar about after 72 hours without any sleep to want to go to bed and get some?
All right, I said I was sorry, didn't I? I'm getting undressed. Hey, do you mind?
Hey, I just want to brush my teeth.
Oh, I'll bet.
Well, if that sounds overly sexy, then I'm dead every time I ask for a drink of water at a time of day.
Listen, Mr.
Matamore!
I know your name.
Well, then use it.
Listen, Mr. Matamore, I don't happen to think anything you do or say is particularly sexy. Now, what do you think about that, huh?
Yeah, well, you know what the trouble with you is, honey?
No, honey, what's the trouble with me?
You're always ready to say no before anybody asks you.
Oh! Oh, is that the trouble with me, huh, honey? Imagine that.
Imagine that. Oh, is that the trouble with me? Imagine that. Oh, is that the trouble with me? Yeah, that's the trouble with you. Before anybody asks you.
I'm on my honeymoon. Newlywed.
Incidentally, I'm curious to know just exactly what your stand on civil rights really is, Senator Aston Grample.
Why, you know very well what my stand on civil rights is, sir.
I'm for civil rights. I've always been for civil rights. It's just that we don't like to be rushed and hurried into these things. All we're asking for is just a little bit of time.
I'm sorry, Senator, your time has run out. Next week on Washington Interview, elder statesman Richard M. Nixon will come out of retirement to answer questions on what can be done to reunite the Republican Party. Thank you very much, Senator Pappenapple.
Aston Grapple. I.J. Aston Grapple.
I'm sorry, Senator.
Was it you?
No, I thought it was you.
No, maybe it's coming from there.
I don't think so. I think it's out there.
I thought it was coming from there. That's why I
Go see what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out. Because when I heard the knock,
Come on, Peter.
All right, Eileen, don't push.
You know, you're supposed to be the man on this expedition.
I am the man. Just relax.
See what it is.
All right, stop being so nervous. Relax.
Relax. What is it?
It's a thing in a spacesuit.
What's it doing?
It's waving and rocking.
What does it want?
It wants to come in.
Yeah?
Well, let's let it in.
Okay. No! It's Schmidlap. He's killed Hoffman and he's back.
No, I don't think so. It's too big.
Yeah?
We better let it in and see.
Okay. Press the button, Peter.
Well, you get me so nervous. I know what to do.
Is it in?
Not yet. Now it's in.
Oh.
Give me your gun.
I don't have a gun.
That makes two of us. Get something to protect us in case.
Yeah? What?
Find something.
Hey, Peter. Is this okay?
Fine.
Peter, will you?
All right, now just relax.
Like your husband.
All right. Just cool it.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Anna Sablova. And you?
Peter Matamor.
Peter.
Uh-huh.
Peter?
Uh-huh.
Peter?
Well, that's my wife.
I'm his wife, Mrs. Matamor. How do you do?
She's glad to know you.
How to do? I'm Anna Sablova.
Yes, we know. The Russian cosmonaut.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
From a little town outside of Moscow.
Oh, how nice. Say, wouldn't you like to sit down? Right over here.
Thank you. I came right over as soon as I saw those other two leaving.
You must be the girl that Schmidlap attacked last week.
Oh, yes, he was always attacking me. I came over for a cup of coffee, attack. I go outside for a few minutes, another attack. Oh, you don't know how wonderful it's going to be to have another girl up here to kind of share the load. I came over to get acquainted and also to ask a little favor.
What are neighbors for?
I wondered if you mind if I spend the night here.
Spend the night?
Well, yes. You see, Igor and I had a little fight, and I like to teach him a lesson. Igor just can't stand to sleep alone at night. He's going to go crazy.
I see.
Igor's like a bull. He's bad enough during the 14 days of daylight, but now at the beginning of 14 days of night.
I see. Naturally, we're looking forward to meeting your husband, aren't we?
Oh, that's what neighbors are for.
Who? Your husband.
Oh, you must mean Igor. He's not my husband. He's just a man they sent me up here with.
Oh, I see.
We hardly knew each other till the day we got here. But fortunately, Igor is very easy to know. Must seem rather strange for you Americans. I mean, Igor and I not being married.
Strange? No, on the contrary, I think it's very sophisticated. Don't you think it's sophisticated, Eileen?
Yes, it's very sophisticated.
She thinks it's sophisticated, too.
Well, I guess it's the way you're brought up. My mother was never married, you know.
She wasn't.
No, but my father was.
Oh, well,
But not to my mother.
that's what neighbors are for. See, the mother and the father. Except that they...
I hope you don't think I'm rude or anything, but, you know, we haven't had any sleep for about 3 days now, and we were just about to go to bed when you came.
Oh, that's all right. You go right ahead.
Okay. Well, I guess you can sleep in there with me.
Sleep with you? On your honeymoon? Oh, I would never think of a thing like that.
I'm glad you didn't.
I bet you wouldn't either.
You can bet I wouldn't. I mean, Igor and I would never hear of such nonsense.
Well, don't give me another thought. I sleep right here on the couch. You see, I even brought my nut here. Here, you like it?
You got this in Moscow?
Igor did. He got me 6.
I had a hunch Igor had something to do with buying them.
Well, I'll get you the blankets and pillow. By the way, how many blankets would you like, 1 or 2?
Oh, just a pillow, please.
So your father and mother were not married?
Peter? Well, here's your pillow.
Thank you.
Isn't that comfy?
Oh, very.
Good night.
Good night.
You coming, Peter?
Oh, yes. If there's anything at all you might want during the
Peter.
course of the evening, I'll be right here. Just don't hesitate to call. As I said, if there's anything at all...
Will you close the door?
Yeah, all right.
Both of them.
Oh.
Oh, boy. Well, it's just like Mr. Quonset said it would be. Just 2 scientists off on a scientific expedition, huh? Well, this is the nuttiest expedition I've ever been on in my life. 240,000 miles away from any place, anywhere. And what do we have the first night? Company. Well, come on, Peter, come to bed.
Come to bed?
Sure. Why fight it? I have a feeling that destiny has been conspiring against me for ages. Peter, take your shoes off.
Yeah, I did forget. All right, I'll get in bed, Eileen, but I haven't forgotten that I made a deal with you. I mean, that I gave you my word. I promised. We have an agreement. So I'm going to sleep in between the blankets. I'm not getting under the sheets. Because when I give my word, that's it. Promise is a promise. I like to keep my word when I give it to somebody. And, you know, that way you have a reputation of being honorable.
Well, now, you don't think that's going to work, do you? Oh, no, sir. This whole thing has been preordained. From the very first minute in the early 1920s, when Professor Goddard started experimenting with those little tiny rockets way out there in the New Mexico desert, he was already setting in motion the events that are about to take place in this particular bed on this particular night. So what's the use of anything, Peter? After all, this is only the first night. I still have 364 more to go. One puny little girl against the entire universe? What I'm really trying to say is, go ahead, Peter. Take me. I'm yours.
What's the matter?
It's your crazy Russian girlfriend.
Huh?
Come in.
Come on.
Guess who's here?
The Moshev dancers.
Now it's Igor. I knew he couldn't stand it without me.
I can understand it.
You two might as well get up, because I know Igor, and I know exactly what he's going to want to do.
What is...
Igor going to want to do?
Oh, he wants to have a very old-fashioned Russian party. So hurry up, huh?
Do you know that if somebody said to me, hey, you're going to the moon, and when you get there, you can have anything you wish. You know what I'd wish for?
Yeah, a good old-fashioned Russian party.
You're right.
Well, thank heavens, I had a night's sleep. After 8 hours, at least, you can go. You feel like you got some energy. A party is good to go to once you've really rested, you know?
Peter!
Oh, at least another nap didn't hurt.
What are you, a party pooper? What are you, a spoil sport?
No, I'm not spoiled sport. I just happen to like a little American music, too.
Ah, I love American music. Go!
Too close.
Not close enough, pal.
You don't have to get that close. Just, hey, that's my wife.
Whee! Hello, Peter.
Hello.
That's just all right.
It's wonderful. We have to get a refill.
Yes.
A refill of... Igor!
Yeah?
Igor,
Yeah.
fini.
What?
No more wet.
Don't give it another thought. Look, I have capsule. You hold capsule. I take bottle. This will be another Russian first, and there's plenty more where that came from. Now, I have bottle. You have capsule. So, I take capsule. Now, I have capsule, and I have bottle. Huh? Good. Now, I need funnel. So, you hold capsule. I take funnel. I put funnel in bottle. I take capsule, and now I need water. So you hold bottle, I take capsule and water. But I need bottle. You hold capsule, I have bottle. Now I put water in bottle, you pour capsule. I mix it up, put more water. Say the magic words, honky, monkey, ponky. Vodka! Vodka! No, you don't drink vodka with funnel. What is the matter with you? You take the funnel out of... You got the funnel, you funny man there. Drink the vodka, drink. Love it. More vodka. Another Russian first. Drink love. With vodka. 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 What happened to my vodka? Dude, vodka? Too much vodka. Give me back my vodka. That capsule. You have capsule, I take capsule. And I have vodka for Anushka. Give me your glass, my darling. Vodka. More vodka. To us, my darling. Anushka, you're crying. Why? Why are you crying?
I'd just like to know one thing.
Oh, what's that, Anushka? What's that?
If he got married her, why can't you marry me?
Because, Anushka, because we are so happy this way. Why take a chance? Look at you. You are so young and so beautiful. I am so young and so beautiful. Why
Why should we take a chance to spoil everything?
It's not going to spoil anything. I just want to get married.
But why, my love? Why?
Why can't we get married?
Like I say, Anushka, for 1,000 times I have told you, we are both so young and so beautiful, and I want to protect you. It would be indecent if we got married. It's not for me, it's for you. For you, because I love you.
You really are sweet, Igor.
That's right. I am sweet. And it is for you. I am not thinking of myself, my love.
Quiet. Quiet, everybody. I'll get it. That must be Quonset from the Home Office.
Matamor, my boy.
Oh, Quonset. How's everything on a third planet from the sun?
Everything's fine down here. How are things up there?
Oh, fine. Everything's just fine. All right, let's knock off the pleasantries, Quonset. Let's get down to business. What's on your mind? You want a weather report?
Never mind the report. How's Mrs. Matamor?
Out cold.
Well, don't wake. I'll only be a moment. I just want to tell you what a relief it is to have two responsible people like you and Mrs. Matamor up there on the moon after that ghastly year I had with Schmidlap and Hoffman.
Oh, yeah, those two are really a couple of hairy disaster areas, weren't they?
Well, let's forget about them.
All right.
I'm planning on having my first real night's sleep for months. You and Mrs. Matamor have my full confidence, and I want you to know...
Yeah, go on. What's the matter, Quonset?
Where did you say Mrs. Matamor was?
Out cold. Limp as a dead cat.
Well, who was that?
Who was what?
Who was that who just tiptoed across my screen?
Across your screen?
Somebody dressed in a fairy's costume just tiptoed across my screen. I'm sorry, There she is again. That isn't Mrs. Matamor.
Who isn't Mrs. Matamor?
That half-naked fairy isn't Mrs. Matamor. What have you done with her? Have you got her tied up somewhere?
Tied up? Just as we thought. We always suspected you had a little bottle down in a drawer of the desk, Quonset. Been nipping a little baby?
Don't give me that, Matamor. I insist on seeing your wife.
Wants to see my wife, Matamor. No, I'm Matamor. Well, I just sent for her, so hold on to your buttons.
What is going on up there?
Oh, nothing, Quonset. We were just having a little,
I know what you were having a little of, and I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about anything. All I wanted was one good night's sleep, and I'm not going to let you spoil that for me, Matamor. I'm not going to think about you any more tonight. I'm going to think about you in the morning. I'm going to blot you right out of my mind.
Hey. Hey, you got your feet all over my wife's legs.
A toast to your wife's leg.
Oh, don't waste it, Igor. I need a good stiff drink. Every time I talk to Quonset, I get depressed. I need a drink.
Hold on.
What about the vodka? Igor, you got more vodka?
More vodka coming right up. What?
Oh. More vodka. And I know how to fix it. I remember from last time that we made the vodka. You need the funnel and... You need the funnel.
Oh, hello.
Yay, Peter!
Peter! Oh, Peter! My pal Peter. My pal Peter, that is the most magnificent exhibition of drinking I have ever seen. One full quart of 100 proof Ukrainian vodka. If you live, I shall see that you make the cover of Pravda. Pravda, I love...
You put your leg on my wife's leg.
What?
You put your leg on my wife's leg, and we happen to frown on that in America. We don't like guys putting their legs on our wife's legs.
Hey, Pop. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, there's a lot of things in America we frown on it, you Russians do.
No. Don't tell me about America. I was a spy in the Russian embassy in Washington for 4 years. How you like that?
Ha-ha, didn't you admit it?
That's right, I was a spy. I was a spy.
Well, step outside.
What for?
In America, that's how we settle things.
Okay, pal. We step outside. Come, we go. Peter, now listen to Peter.
I'm stepping out.
Peter? What's the matter with you? Where are you going?
Hey, mind your
You've
business.
got too much to drink,
You just mind your business. There's one thing I don't like about wives is butting into their husband's business. Just mind it. Just mind it. Ah.
Oh. It must be romantic to have your husband fight over you. He must be quite a lot in love with you.
He's just very much drunk, that's all. Peter?
Huh?
Hi.
Oh.
Here.
Oh, I don't want to drink anything. Please don't give me nothing to drink. Where am I?
It's all right, Peter. You're on the moon.
On the moon?
Uh-huh.
Oh, of course, on the moon. That stupid fight. Is Igor all right?
Yes, he's fine.
Did I hurt him?
No, Peter, you didn't hurt him.
No. Well, where is he? I'd like to apologize.
He left
He left when?
2 days ago.
2 days ago?
Mm-hmm.
I've been lying here like this for 2 days. Was it Igor when he...
No, it wasn't Igor. It was 1 quart of 100% foolproof instant Ukrainian vodka, that's what.
What?
You don't know what a mess it's been around here. Everybody's gotten into the act, from the president on down.
The president?
The president, the vice president, even the Speaker of the House.
What about Mr. Quonset?
Oh, he's been the worst of all. He's been on that television set constantly. First he wanted to kill you, and then he was afraid you were dying.
Oh, well.
There he goes again.
Hmm?
Do you want me to get it for you?
Yes, please. I'm gonna have to face him sooner or later.
Oh, it's you, Matamor.
Go ahead, sir. I got it coming.
You certainly have, Matamor.
Did I miss anything I should have been covering?
No, nothing, no. Just a typhoon in Okinawa, A hurricane that nearly wiped out Florida and the East Coast. And the first blizzard in the history of Southern California. But never mind that. Are you in any condition to take a top-level emergency call from General Hallenby in Washington?
General Howling Bull Hallenby?
That's the one, Mattermore. I'll put you through.
Mattermore.
Yes, sir.
I believe you hold a reserve commission in the Air Force.
Yes, sir. Second lieutenant, sir.
Second lieutenant? At your age?
Well, you know, what with the politics in the Air Force.
Well, never mind about that. Now, listen, as of right now, I'm recalling you to active duty.
Yes, sir. When shall I report? I mean, how will I report, sir?
Don't ask idiotic questions, Lieutenant. Just listen to me now. Now then, Mattermore, we've just issued an ultimatum to the Russian government. It's going to expire in 11 minutes. Right now, the president is standing by on the hotline to the Kremlin.
Why do we issue an ultimatum, sir?
That's none of your damn business. Well, on the other hand, maybe it is your business. Seems how you'd probably be the first ones to get wiped out.
Wiped out?
Well, you're sitting right there in the most strategic spot in the universe. If I was a Russian general, I wouldn't think twice about wiping you out. Now, on the other hand, Mattermore, you two might just be the only living survivors left to carry on the great American dream. Think of that, Mattermore. The only living survivors. However, it's my opinion you'll get wiped out, bro.
May I respectfully ask, sir, the reason for all this wiping out?
It's come to our attention that there's recently been a large undercover movement of Russian men and supplies into, what the hell's the name of that place? Well, never mind what it is. That's not important. The important thing is it's inside our sphere of influence. And we've issued this ultimatum to the Russian government to either get out of there or else explain their presence within, 9 minutes.
That's pretty hard for me to believe, sir.
What do you mean it's hard for you to believe? I believe it. Look at me. I'm sitting right here and I believe it. I don't know what's the matter with you, Mattermore.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. What are my orders?
That's a little better. Mattermore, your orders are... secure the moon.
Secure the moon, yes. Secure the moon? How do we do that?
What do you mean, how do you do it? You secure the moon, that's what you do. You got some Russians up there, too, haven't you?
Well, yes, not many, just 2, sir. We had them over the other night for a little party.
You had them over for a what?
Well, we were just having a little get-together, and they just came in. We couldn't very well ask them to leave.
You realize they probably planted a bomb around there? Now, listen to me, Mattermore. If you don't hear from me within 7 minutes, that'll be it. You understand? Use your own judgment. Dismissed. Where in the hell's the damn button?
The second one from the top, sir.
Why in the hell didn't you say so?
I don't care what he says. I don't believe it.
Yeah, well, I made the same mistake a couple of minutes ago. And you heard what Howling Bull said. You better believe it.
I don't care. I just don't think either the Americans or the Russians are stupid enough to start anything like that.
Well, you wouldn't believe it because you're a woman. You haven't got a military mind. And we only have 6 minutes now. Is there someone you want to call, like your mother or your sister?
Not me. I'm the one that doesn't believe it, remember?
Well, whether you believe it or not, let's knock off the talking and get going. There's Igor. Hi, Igor. Come on in. I'm pretending to be friendly, just to egg him on. Come on in, Igor. I gotta find something to belt that Russian with.
Peter.
I'll bet you he's on the same assignment I am.
No, Peter.
Yeah. I guarantee you he's coming in here to capture us.
Baloney. He came here to get Anna.
Anna?
Yes, she's asleep in there. She has been all the time.
How come?
Because because she refuses to go back to Igor unless he promises to marry her. That's how come.
Better yet.
Oh, Peter.
This is working out better than I thought. Now we only have one to worry about.
Listen, I'm sure you know what you're doing.
I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm doing exactly what any man in my position of responsibility would do.
Now, wait a minute. Igor saved your life 2 days ago, remember?
Yeah, and I'm gonna save it again today. Now mind your business. Come in.
Oh, William! It's Igor! Open up!
The lock, silly.
All right, come in.
Peter.
They're strong. Eye on them. Just watch them. They're very strong, I'm telling you. Tie his feet.
Oh! Why did you have to hit him so hard, Peter?
What'd you want me to do, stand there and box with him? He's got at least 50 pounds on me. Will you stop stalling and get Howling Bull for me? Come on, Eileen, hurry up.
Right.
Just put the call through.
Moon Station calling. Moon Station calling.
This is the Space Center operator.
Would you get me General Hallenby in Washington, please? Right away.
One moment, please. I'll connect you.
Thank you. Peter, will you hurry up? They're getting Howling Bull. I mean General Hallenby. Come on.
All right.
Well, what is it now, Matamore?
Oh, mission accomplished, sir. I've secured the moon.
What in the hell are you talking about? Well, speak up, will you? I'm fixing to go to Palm Springs.
Palm Springs, sir? Oh, is that where you're going to direct the hostilities from?
Hostilities? I'm going down there to play in the Invitational Golf Tournament.
Golf tournament. Well, sir, what happened to the crisis?
What crisis? Oh, that crisis. Well, that's been all cleared up.
Oh, you mean the Russians that were in there, they got out wherever they were?
Yeah. Turned out they didn't have to get out of there. They were all members of the Russian Peace Corps. That's funny. I never knew the Russians had a Peace Corps. Yeah.
Well, that makes two of us, sir. I didn't know it either. But while we're on the subject, sir, may I ask, what would you like me to do with the prisoners?
What prisoners?
Well, I have this one Russian tied up over here, and I have the other one locked in the bedroom.
You are kidding, aren't you, Matamore?
No, sir. You see, this one Russian outweighed me at least 50 pounds, and I thought he was coming over.
You moron! You damn idiot!
Well, no one called me, sir.
Don't you think I got anything better to do than call up the moon every 5 minutes? Do you realize what you've done, sir? Out of one crisis into another one. You get me the president right away on my private channel. Tell him to stand by on the hotline to the Kremlin. It's idiots like you that get us into trouble jumping into conclusions.
Well, sir, no one called me, and...
You shut up. I'm going to deal with you later. Now, what the hell's going on? What the hell's going on?
You pushed the wrong button, sir.
Well, get that off. Get it off. I've seen that lousy movie 100 times. There goes that damn fool Indian falling off his horse again.
Would you do me a favor and don't argue with me? Just don't argue with me. Just help me. Would you just help me, please? Untie him.
Oh, I'm sure glad I didn't call my mother.
Hurry up.
Oh,
you
yeah.
just think of something to tell Igor when he comes to.
Okay.
Check. Sleeping like a baby.
Monkey, monkey, ponky.
Igor, you all right?
Igor?
Igor, you all right? We'll take it easy. We'll take care of you.
What happened? What happened?
You slipped coming to the door.
Yeah, you slipped. You see, when you you came through the door.
Yeah. Where's Anna?
Oh, she's in bed. She's asleep in the next room.
Yeah, she's in the next room,
Bed.
asleep. Easy, Igor. Just relax. Just
Igor?
Igor. Easy.
Igor?
Igor. Easy.
Anushka. Anushka.
Oh, Igor.
Oh, Anushka.
Have you come to tell me you're going to marry me?
No, Anushka. I've come to give you love, romance, and laughter.
But you have to.
Why,
You just have
Anushka?
to.
Why?
I'm going to have a baby.
Товарищ Саблова, хотите видеть замуж за
Rostov is
товарищ
asking Miss Sablova if she will take Mr. Baklanikov to be her lawfully wedded husband.
Da.
She says she will.
Товарищ Баклаников.
Now, Premier Rostov is asking Mr. Baklanikov if he will take Miss Sablova to be his lawfully wedded wife, and he says he will. And I think I see Miss Sablova's mother. She sees her daughter getting married. And Miss Sablova's father, and the father's wife.
Я премьер Советского Союза. Объявляю вас, товарищ Баклаников и товарищ Саблову, мужем и женой.
Now it looks like the settlement is drawing to a conclusion. Mr. Baklanikov, Miss Sablova, man,
Люди как вы, любимые
Mr. Baklanikov kisses Mrs. Baklanikov.
Советском Союзе, горится вам.
Mrs. Matamore kisses Mrs. Baklanikov.
Для Советского Союза. Я поздравляю вас с законным браком.
Now, Premier Rostov is complimenting the young couple, and he is boasting that he is sure that they will very shortly give to the Russian people a new glory. The first baby born on the moon. This is another Russian first, ladies and gentlemen. But is this just an idle boast? Maybe I'm saying more than I should. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this on the air, but it is my opinion, considering the fact that Mr. Baklanikov and Mrs. Baklanikov have been alone together on the moon for 3 months. It is my opinion that the young bride is already several months. This is Roger Carlyle, ending my series of telecasts from Moscow and saying goodbye to BCBP.
Oh, it was a lovely wedding, wasn't it?
Yeah, it sure was.
Anna made a beautiful bride, too.
Yeah. I'll get it.
Okay.
It's probably, someone calling us. Oh, I almost forgot to press.
Hello, kids. Well, what's new, Matamore?
Oh, did you see the wedding?
The whole world saw it. I guess all those rumors are true.
Oh, yeah, that's true. She's got about 2-month jump on us.
I guess there's nothing you two can do about it.
Well, you know, well, what I mean is...
Everybody in Washington is pretty dejected. Senator Aston Grapple cried on the floor of the Senate this morning. Nobody's blaming you, of course, but...
But what?
Nothing.
But what?
Well, even if you had got off to a level start with them, I don't suppose it would have done you any good.
Why not?
Oh, come now, Matamore. We all saw Baklanikov, a vigorous, prancing, snorting young stallion, if ever I saw one.
So what? I'm not exactly what you'd call unvigorous, unsnorting, or unprancing myself.
Matamore, alongside Baklanikov, you look like a worn-out old man who's made one too many journeys to the well and hasn't got the poop to make it back again. Not to mention Mrs. Baklanikov.
No. No, let's mention her. Say, what did I look like alongside of her? Somebody's undersexed kid brother or something, huh?
Well, of course, it isn't your fault that these Russian girls develop so startlingly and so young.
Oh, wait a minute. She's not all that young, mister.
I'm not talking of her age in years. I'm talking of her warm, young earthiness.
Her warm young what?
Well, with a girl like that, you see, you've only got to say boo to her, and she's already 2 months pregnant.
Oh, yeah? Well, you just try saying boo to me and see what happens.
I beg your pardon.
Because if you did, you'd find out I'm just as pregnant as she is.
What did you say?
I said I'm just as pregnant as she is.
But this is wonderful news. This is the most fantastic news I've ever heard. This means it isn't another Russian first after all. I must get on the wire to the president right away. I must get hold of all the foreign correspondents and... Just a moment. How could you be? You've only been married 5 days.
Why do you care how I am? I am.
Oh, you wonderful girl. I'll get back to you right away. Just now I've got a million things to do.
What's going on down there, Quonset?
I pressed the wrong button. It's that movie that's been on Channel 9 all this week. Now he's going to fall off his horse again.
It's kind of exciting. I mean, you know, when I think about it, I got to get cigars. You know, hand them out to everybody. Where do you go here for cigars? You know, handing out. Congratulations. Hey, you had a... What's the matter?
What are you talking about?
Huh?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you were talking about. I mean, the first thing, you know, when a man is proud, you, oh, you're not like, you said... I was teasing you. I know that. I knew you, when you were... What did you hope to accomplish by lying to him?
I wasn't lying.
You said you were as pregnant as Anna is.
I am as pregnant as Anna.
Well, then I'll get a ball and a bat and a glove. I can even make...
Because Anna isn't pregnant.
I don't need a ball, a bat, or a glove, then.
She only told Igor that to make him marry her. And if you must know the truth, it was my idea.
Good thinking. Wait a minute. When you told Quonset what you told him, Quonset and everybody else has got to think you are like you said.
Peter.
Huh?
We have 12 days of night left.
So?
So? You wouldn't want to make a liar out of me now, would you?
No.
This is the Space Center operator. I have Mr. Quonset calling the moon station. Mr. Quonset calling. 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 Mr. Quonset calling.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're gonna take a trip, girl, so slip into something slinky and smooth.
Way, way out.
Just wave the world goodbye, let's fly, 'cause girl, I got a whole lot to prove.
Way, way out.
I mean to show you, I know you and me were meant to go the whole route.
Way, way out.
And if you stick with me, girl, you'll see what the game of love's all about.
Way, way out.
We're gonna take a trip in outer space. Fly now and we'll pay later, girl. Come on and go with me and you'll see what the game of love's all about. It's way, way out.